What the hell was that?
I believe the kids call that buttering your buns.
There is no way that's what the kids are saying these days.
I'm over 30, man. Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay, seriously though. You just got waxed by the Seattle Kraken. And then went on this whole pathetic rant about how your defense can't keep any structure, or how your $8 million goaltender is cheeks, or how your franchise won't call up prospects that make your team better. And on top of all of that, the most important thing that you ranted about is how your offense has no ability to create and even less ability to finish. What just happened?
There was one more thing I said during that rant.
Oh, right. Your special teams also blows, even though they're pretty damn effective tonight.
Yes, and look, it's all true. Against good teams.
Excuse me? We are the second best team you have faced over the last 30 days.
Apparently not. Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team, that is a dub. It's 1 a.m. Yeah, I know it's a Saturday night or into Sunday morning, but still, people are trying to sleep. Let's see here. First of all, I had a whole skit. I recorded it, edited it. It was done, and I was very excited about it because I think it's a good one. It's kind of a long one, but I think it's a good one. But then the Vancouver Canucks decided to flip the script, and I didn't get to use it because it makes no sense for this game whatsoever. I was so confident in what the Bruins would look like against a team that is technically in a playoff position that I made this skit. I'm sure I'm gonna get to use it. I'm really confident about that. We would have to go the next 50 games without having an absolute stinker for me not to get to use it. But it's there. It was a bunch of work. It's fine. Like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it. We won. Huge dub. Get back on track. Feel good. It was a feel-good game. It was a feel-good game for a lot of players and a lot of fans. Does it completely alter the way I felt last video? Nah. I'm not that fickle. I'm kind of fickle. I'm not that fickle. But it does just make you feel better. Vancouver is a real team. They are a real team. They are a real team. They are missing Kevin Lankinen, which doesn't... I mean, Demko was probably going to get the start anyway. Derek Forbort, illness, and then Hronek still has that upper body injury. Demko, as I just mentioned, has returned. He got beat 4 times on 25 shots on his first game back from injury earlier this week. I believe that was on Tuesday. He was fine. He's working his way back from a very, very long absence, lower body injuries, surgeries, everything. So I don't think people are really out on Demko. I think it's going to take some time for him to feel normal again and up to speed with the NHL game, which goalies notoriously, it just takes longer to get there back from injury than it would like your traditional skater. At least that's how I feel. I don't know. Maybe there's not a lot of evidence to back that up. We played these guys a few weeks ago, got shut out, and Jake DeBrusk got the game winner. He would be tied for third on this team in points right now with just his goals alone, which is 14. But technically, he'd be tied for second. Well, would have been tied for second before this game with his full points, which was 23. So there's that. I'm just being a butt about it. I miss DeBrusk. I like DeBrusk. I wish he was still a Bruin. The Canucks are 6-2-2 in their last 10. They are a pretty good team. 10th of the power play, 17th of the penalty kill, 9th in goals for per game, and 17th in goals allowed per game. Now, obviously, that's not like a juggernaut or anything, but that's a team in a playoff position who's been playing pretty solid hockey lately. They've already had to use 9 defensemen this year due to injuries, and that's a real possibility of that going up as well. For the Bruins, there's a little bit of Bruins news. I was going to make a separate video about this, but it's little news. It's little news. Oliver Wahlstrom is getting picked up off waivers by the Boston Bruins, which a little bit bothers me unless they're going to basically put him through waivers again pretty quickly. He's a 24-year-old right shot winger, picked 11th overall in 2018 by the Islanders. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. He's been a pretty massive defensive and offensive liability this year through 27 games played. Last year, he had some okay defensive metrics. The year before, he had some okay offensive metrics. There's potential here. 24 years old, young. There's potential. Bounce back, new environment, be a solid middle six guy here, but he takes a lot of penalties, doesn't facilitate the puck very well, doesn't break the puck out very well, has a career shooting percentage of 9%, hasn't shot above 7% since 2022-2023 season. My biggest, I don't care, right? Like, this is fine. Take a swing on a guy like this. Totally fine. Not upset about that at all. Be ridiculous to be upset about this. I don't like putting ourselves right up against the cap again with this. If you're going to waive him, he'll probably get picked up again, I would assume. But you are putting yourself in a position where you can't call anybody else up. And if you're using this as a reason to not bring Patra back up, who is on an absolute heater down in the AHL, I'm dying inside. Not to mention, the Bruins just switched Lohrei and McLaughlin back into the lineup, moving Johnson and Wotherspoon out. Now, the defense doesn't have anything to do with this, but the McLaughlin and Johnson switching back and forth because neither one's performing that well. I know we'll talk about McLaughlin in this game, but Patra's right there and playing really well. But now they bring in Wahlstrom. So we'll see what their plan is with Wahlstrom, but that's just a little bit of news. It should not be a game-breaking difference for this Bruins team. There's upside, but there's a reason he was waived. The Bruins lineup. We're going Geeky, Zacha, Pasternak, Marchand, Lindholm, Brazeau, Frederick, Coyle, Kostelic, and then Koepke, Beecher, McLaughlin. McLaughlin back in the lineup. Zadorov, McAvoy, changed up the defensive pairings a little bit. Osterley, Carlo, and the Lohrei Peak. Jeremy Swayman is in net. Johnson and Wotherspoon scratched, as I just mentioned. So the other two reinsert back into the lineup. It does feel like maybe they're just going to keep switching them back and forth until they find one that can really stick, which I think both of them played well enough in this game that they're going to get another one. Elias Lindholm is going to play despite looking injured in the last game. I was surprised to see him out there, but that's good news. I don't know if it particularly makes our team better or worse, but it is good that Elias Lindholm was not hurt too badly because that would just suck for the man in general. Let's talk about this game. Puck drops! And I want to point something out immediately. I think the Bruins did something really clever here. Really, really clever that I bet a lot of you did not pick up on. Yeah, I'm about to drop some hot hockey knowledge. The Boston Bruins didn't start this game by taking a double minor. Right? Past two games in a row, they started it with a high stick that drew some blood. It was bad news for the team. This game, they went, hey, what if we didn't just smack people in the face with our sticks and played some hockey? And you know what? A pretty good first period. 4:12 in, the Bruins are buzzing and have had a couple chances in tight in front of Demko. Myers gets called for cross-checking on Kostelic on one of those chances. We're going to the power play. Instead of being the first team to kill a penalty, we're going to be the first team to make the other team kill penalty. Yeah, now you don't expect anything on the power play because it ranks dead last, and it honestly should. But my God, they did it. 1 minute in, exactly the midway point on the power play. The Bruins look like they're struggling to even get properly set up in the zone. But McAvoy saves a puck on the right point. Blue line. He's going to move that over to Marchand, who's on the left point. He's going to bump this down to Pasta, who's in his traditional office on that left circle. Marchand's immediately going to take a diagonal path to the back door of the net. Pasta is going to see this, push it down to Lindholm, who's on that goal line on the opposite side of Marchand, who swings his puck across the crease front where Marchand gets the tap in on the other side. Now, Demko gets his leg there, but Marchand roofs it. And the crowd has been booing every time Marchand has touched his puck. So what's his celebration? A little, got him. You love to see it. The captain knows how to draw an audience in. He also didn't get that many boos after that, oddly enough. Funny how that changed. So it's 1-0 on a power play goal. And then 8:08 in. Bruins are set up in the zone again, where they've spent most of the first period so far. They're clearly trying to utilize the walls and the back net area to facilitate. So you're going to see Geeky on the left side swing the puck down, where Pasta is in Gretzky's office behind the net. It's going to keep the puck moving up the other wall to Zacha, who's going to punch it right back down to Pasternak, again, Gretzky's office. He is going to look left, look right. The defense decides they want to collapse. As they do that, he goes, "Thank you very much. I can find this seam," and whips it to Geeky, who's in the slot untouched, gets to beat Demko glove side, and it's 2-0 just like that. And with 7:17 left, Susi clears it over the glass. We're going to another power play. This power play, this one was awful. It was really, really bad. It's fine. We have a 2-goal lead. The shots are 16-4 at the end of the period. You feel really good. And if you remember the last game against the Vancouver Canucks, where we lost 2-0, where Jake DeBrusk got the game-winning goal, we thoroughly outshot them, and not just outshot them. We did outplay them through large stretches of that game, but we still sat there and complained because this team has a finishing problem on most nights. And so there's only so many times you can be like, well, we outshot them. Like, well, we didn't outscore them. So in this one, things were going in a similar fashion of play, but we were actually finishing our chances, which you love to see. Second period starts, 1:12 in. Osterley moves the puck up to the neutral zone, where Pasta collects it in a tight space along the wall. But he's going to slyly draw some defenders in and push this puck underneath the defender's skates to Zacha, who is springing himself on a breakaway. He's going to get in behind the defense. He's going to get harassed the entire way there from behind. He's going to make Demko bite all the way over to his forehand on that glove side post, and then last second move the puck back and slide it around Demko's far leg for a 3-0 lead. Just a $1.12 into the second period. Vancouver wasn't going away. I am actually pretty impressed because Vancouver through the second period had a lot of push, had a lot of drive, down 3 goals. I mean, obviously, professional hockey teams, that's what you should be, but you felt like they would be a little bit dejected. Never really felt like that till late in the game. 2:54 in, Beecher for tripping. We're going on a penalty kill. This, I bet, is where a lot of us got nervous, myself included. Penalty kill hasn't been brilliant lately, and if you allow a goal here, I mean, you still have a 2-goal lead, but things do start to get a little, oh, we're not going to actually do this, right? Right? Well, we're totally fine. Not only are we fine, we create multiple scoring chances during the penalty kill, the best of which is a 2-on-1 where Marchand tries to shoot off the far pad to set up a rebound for Coyle, who's on his right side. Doesn't really work out that way. The rebound actually comes back out 2 straight, where Marchand is able to collect it again past the defender and tries to fling this backhand past Demko sprawling out, but Demko gets enough of a piece to finish off that chance, and it is going to stay 3-0, but that was the best chance of their power play. Fun to be on the other side of that for once. 8:11 left. Canucks win a face-off in their own zone and move the puck behind their net. Branston makes a bad play, a kind of Forbort-esque play, if you will, where he's going to swing this puck up around the left wall there. Peak is all over his man at the point, and actually gets to jump in and bump this puck away from him, keeping it alive in the offensive zone. Now, unfortunately, the Bruin isn't there to get there first. It's actually going to be, I think, Bluger who jumps on it, but immediately, Peak knocks it off his stick as well. McLaughlin comes up. He's able to collect it in that high slot area. He spins, launches. Looks like it gets tipped on the way there. Not exactly sure who it hit, but it is still considered McLaughlin's goal. It beats Demko off of the deflection, glove side, and it's 4-0. McLaughlin needed that. I still think he was one of our less effective forwards, even though the fourth line was, especially through the second and third period, dominant. But hey, a goal's a goal's a goal. And you that earns you another game pretty typically. So I think he's fine. 21 seconds left of the period. Marchand and Hughes get into a little scuffle after it looks like Marchand's upset about the angle of a clearance made by Hughes, where it goes right by his face. And by right by his face, I don't mean like here. I mean like here, but still, I don't know. I don't know if this is a legit complaint by Marchand. I also don't technically know that's exactly what upset him. It just seemed pretty obvious from the replay. They get into a tussle. Miller comes in to defend Hughes. Miller's going to go for roughing. Marchand's going to go for unsportsmanlike conduct. It's going to be 4v4 for 2 minutes. Then we're going to start the third period, 4v4, because that was the last 20 seconds of the last period that happened. And 26 seconds in, still 4v4, the Bruins break it out of their zone. McAvoy tries to take the ozone, which he does, over the blue line. And on top of that right circle, he's going to do a drop pass to Pasternak. Pasternak collects. He's going to skate down that right circle. Demko's going to completely sell out to close that short side. Pasta's going to go around the net, wrap around, and gets just past the post. Angle looks like it might miss, but Demko's skate comes out to try to make the save, ends up booting it in his own net, and it's 5-0. Pasternak now with a goal and 3 assists. Not bad. And I think Pasta could have really used this game too. Nice to see. 80 seconds later, Koepke on a breakaway gets snuffed out by Demko with the pad. This is where you start to see things kind of be like, okay, this game is basically over. Vancouver knows it. The Bruins know it. Bruins are doing a lot of high, lofty clearances, just burning more time off of the clock. Just hoping to get out of there and get ready for Calgary. 6:02 into the period. Bluger is going to interfere with McLaughlin. We're going to go to power play. With 1:24 left of that power play, Zacha gets tripped up, but he's really falling down from incidental contact. And as he's falling, gets a Canuck in the face with his stick. So we are going to go to 4v4 for $1.24, and then a short penalty kill, which we kill off. 9:47 left. Lindholm with a bad turnover as he mishandles a pass. Miller collects the puck on the blue line, gets to keep that offensive zone time alive, and he gets to skate right down to the slot unimpeded until Carlo jumps in his path. Miller is going to dish this off to Sason. I'm not really familiar with this guy, but that's all right. Sason in the right circle. He's going to nail this on net. Swayman gets a lot, and I bet Swayman wants this one back. Not exactly a bad goal to give up, but, I mean, frankly, it felt like he got enough of it where he should have had the stop. Doesn't matter. Swayman was very good in this game. I'm not dunking on him for this one. It does squeak through. It's 5-1. We're going to get one more power play late in the game. We don't do anything with it, but that's it. That's a 5-1 win. You just, you feel like you can breathe a little bit here, right? A much, much better result against a team that is in a playoff position. You can feel really good about that. Again, contenders are a different story, like true contenders. But it's nice to beat a team that's at least in the top half of the league, right? But let's do a couple game notes, shall we? Pasta had a monster effort. 4 points, 1 goal, 3 assists. And I'm not going to use this as an opportunity to crap all over Geeky. Because, I mean, I do enough of that, right? And Geeky's been better lately. He really has been. The Geeky Zacha Pasta line has a distinct feature to it, where Zacha and Pasta have this great connection. I feel like they might be one of our best chemistry duos, even though Zacha is definitely not a Pasta, but you know what I mean. They connect well, they find each other well. And Geeky capitalized on some stuff in this game. He was very good, don't get me wrong. I would just love to find a third complementary player on that line to replace Geeky, where Zacha, Pasta, and this third all have a nice amount of chemistry together. Because although Geeky had a good game, and he's had some nice moments, it's very clear that it's those two and then Geeky. And those are two different areas that they're spending time in. So it's something that they had a great game, but God, it does have a lot of flashes where you just sit there and go, I wish we had somebody with a little more chemistry with these guys to work with. The other game notes, Swayman with a really good bounce back game. He wasn't asked to do a ton until the second period where there was a flurry of chances where he snuffed them all out. And yeah, that one goal where, I mean, it's a breakdown 2-on-1 cross crease movement that has to get done. It squeaks through. Like, you can't really blame the goalie that much on that. I felt like he could have had that one. I don't know. Maybe this is just me. But really, really good effort from him. Something that I'm sure he really needed as well. And then the last game note is both a negative and a positive one. This needs to be the norm for Lohrei and Zadorov. Zadorov has been, the past couple of games at least, much, much more consistent. I mean, I know Winnipeg and I know those games didn't go well, Seattle. But Zadorov has looked better. He frankly has. Lohrei got benched, comes back, looks really good in all 3 facets of the game. So if this could become the new norm, if Zadorov can be the guy where I'm just complaining about how much he costs, not his play, right? Like, I'm complaining the fact, like, oh, God, this is a third-pairing guy making $5 million. But he's a really consistent, strong third-pairing guy. I mean, he played in the top pair tonight, but you know what I mean. Then I'll be fine. Like, let me just complain about how much he makes, not his actual play on the ice, right? Like early years with Coyle, where it was like, he's not an issue, but God, I hate how much he makes, right? Lohrei, on the other hand, he just needs to be a consistent hockey player. His lows are so tremendously low that it's hard to keep him in the lineup at times, as we've seen with the coaching staff. But his highs are so brilliant that you're like, how do I keep this guy on the bench? If their new norm can be consistency, I mean, there's so many things about this team that change the landscape of the team if you're getting the right factors going in your favor. It's just, you don't get them all the time. I guess a lot of teams can say that, honestly, but really loved their games tonight. I mean, loved everyone's game tonight. This was a really good 60-minute full roster effort, and that mattered. This team needed this. Nice to see. I'm sure you needed it as well. I need to get some rest, but I'm just really glad that I stayed up for one that I didn't hate watching the whole time. I think I deserved it. I think you deserved it. I think we earned it. Go Bees. Go Bees! And now it's time to say thank you to the high-quality inspectors. I appreciate each and every one of you. There's over 100 of you at this point. And I love doing these thank yous at the end, but I think we're reaching such a volume that I have to rethink this strategy because you're all so incredible and so supportive. But this is getting really long, and there's got to be a better way, right? But let's start the thank yous, of course, with the top line tier. Dampen, Negev79, Trial Exotic, Jeff McGugan, Brad Yaati, Andrew Peterson, Zenon Noel DeGuy, Donald Shelton, Anakin Palpatine, The Rat 63, Lola Cattingsworth, EKM Productions, Moonlighter TV, Big Bad Bruin, The Bugman, Adam Ella, Jeff with a G, Tommy Braga, Roland 22, GD Viperworks, Len Cruz, Brock Nope, Han Slomo, Coach D, The Atomic Lizard, Bradley Johnson, Brett Arney, Pincent, and Nick Zatrullo. Thank you so much, each and every one of you. You're absolute legends of this channel, and you're very appreciated. And now, of course, to our all-star tier members. Lorenzo Wood, Jake Brower, Penny Pasta, Levi Catalani, Boston Stringler, Bagel, Jacob Pratt, Nightmare Eco, John Kirk, Ann Hustis, Joel, Heil E. Coyote, Darren Woodbury, Abraxion, Michael DePaulo, Wolf Warrior, Vinny, Adrian Winter, Tupton D. Tashi, Bruin Smash, DeKingery, The Only Newts, A Tasty Snack, Dutes 42, and Jeremy. Absolute stallions, every single one. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for being a part of the channel. I cannot express my gratitude. Go Bees.